Hi, and welcome back. It has been a little bit, and I will not be getting videos out for a while longer because I still am in a cast. So doing this single-handedly does take a little bit more time. But my hope is that this Friday, when I get my x-rays done, maybe it'll be time to take the cast off already. They told me 4 to 6 weeks. I'm going for 3.5. Okay? Yeah. Hey, you got to walk in with a made-up mind saying, yeah, my body can heal. Let's do this. And that's my hope. So today, there are 2 things that I wanted to share with you. One of them is a strategy you can use in your life right now. No matter what it is you're doing, it's something that you could take a moment to do that may save you a lot of headaches and sleepless nights in the future. All right? And this strategy is, not wearing glasses. Some people just wear glasses to look smarter. Well, I know I can't fool you. But anyways, back to the strategy. The strategy is planning ahead, having a budget. A very wealthy person told me long ago that you will know a lot about a person by their budget and how they keep their calendar. You see, budget is talking about your wealth. And what is wealth? It's not just the money you have. It's all of the assets, whether it's cars or houses or stocks, anything that you can use that would leverage your ability to consume or buy things or invest, right? And they talk about things like cash flow, where you have money coming in and money going out. Okay, so it's important. You don't have to watch every penny every second, but you should have an idea what your monthly budget is. And it's important for this planning and strategy I want to talk with you about today. The other one was calendar. And why does calendar fit in this list? Well, it's because a calendar is showing you time. Time is a commodity that we can't replace. And time is money because you can't get it back. And what you do with it is either going to help you get closer to your goals, or you'll do what most of us do, and that's just waste time. I want to stop doing that as much as possible. All right, if you've been following the channel, you know that I went down to the Apple store one day just to look at the computers and the newest iPhone to see if it was something that made sense for me, and I wanted to plan ahead because I always kind of plan the expiration date on the gear I use. So in this example, if there is a computer you use as a work item, it's part of what you need to do the tasks that are ahead. A computer can last you 3 to 5 years, depending on how bad you beat it. And if you almost never use the computer, it probably will last you 5 to 7 years easily. Can it last longer? Sure. But the people who sell computers don't want to keep updating software with hardware that has become obsolete. Also, all electronics break down. Has to do with things like time, age, heat, use, all of these things. How many times does the disk read and write? So just know there is a obsolescence built into all of the gear that you own. And I'm talking about computers, but this is true with vehicles. It's true with guns. I mean, there's a guy, I think his name was Eli Whitney, who made this great thing called interchangeable parts. It was genius at the time, and there are parts that are put into cars and other things now that are kind of built with a shelf life. They know it's going to go out after a certain amount of time because the makers of these things want to keep making money. What does this have to do with you and me? Well, if you can plan ahead, you can position yourself in a way that makes good sense. Here would be a very easy example. You need shoes. Now, if you live in some parts of the country or some jungle area where nobody wears shoes and you get away with it, fine. You want to make some sandals out of pieces of tire? Great. You want to live off-grid and wear sod on your feet and things like this, animal skins? You can, okay? But you need something, and even those require upkeep. But let's just go with everybody else. Everybody else is wearing some kind of shoes to walk in, to run in, to do whatever activities they are doing. If you are a runner, you probably want some special shoes that don't weigh so much that support your feet when you run. Do they last forever? No, you're going to wear those soles out. You're probably going to wear one side of the heel out. You're probably going to make it so that when you first get the shoe, it has a nice cushion. And over time, not so much cushion. And that shock of just hitting the pavement or whatever you run on starts to travel up through your spine, and it's time to get some new shoes. Okay? You keep things going as long as you can, and you maintain what you have until it's time to replace them. So keep this in mind. If that's true with shoes, it's true with vehicles, it's true with computers, it's true with cameras, everything else, then if you know it's coming, don't wait to react or put yourself into debt. Charging things onto a credit card, having this unneeded, unnecessary extra interest you're paying to somebody else for what? To help them make money isn't going to help you in the long run. And I know this is sounding very financial. Not supposed to. I'm just trying to give you an idea. There are people I know who saved up a lot of cash or just liquid capital so they could go into a dealership and buy the vehicle they drive straight out. No payments. Okay, I didn't do that. I made payments. If you are going to make payments on a large purchase, the more money you can put early on in the loan is going to help you in the long run to reduce the amount of interest you pay because you will pay more towards the principal early, and they make less money off of you if you do it this way. So how does this come into play with my immediate needs? Well, I know there was a goal I have to make recordings for not just the channel we have now, but also things I want to do in business in the future. So I was already saving money before the expense came. I do this with computers, and I try to now do it with my camera gear and things. When I know the value of something, I try to put a little bit aside each month in anticipation that I may have to replace something. That being said, there have been a couple sales recently, and because I was putting myself in position, thinking I was going to have to spend the price I knew, now when they make this announcement and suddenly I can get it at a much lower cost, that's just great. I'm willing to go out and spend a little bit extra if I can get more of the items that are on my list for the future, because if they're giving a big discount, it makes sense. Now, how does that make sense for you? Well, if there's something that you need to make your business operate, your daily life easier, don't wait until everything breaks and you have to buy something. If it's a washing machine for your clothes, if it's the water heater, the water cooler, any of these things that are appliances in your house, if you wait until it breaks, then you're going to have to scramble. And you might be thinking, but I don't have extra money every month. Okay, and people are in this situation a lot. I've been in this situation a lot. But what you can do is you can plan a little bit. So, of course, you want to take care of any consumer debt first. You want to pay your bills. You don't want to get behind on the stuff. Get rid of those credit card bills early as possible. But then when you are in the positives, then you can start planning ahead. And some people use this envelope method where they take a little bit of money, put into envelopes each month. Well, whatever it is, just take a portion. And if your bank allows you to have a savings account, you can even label it a certain thing, and you can just put money into that a little bit at a time. And if it's $5 a month, go without coffee for one day or something so that you build that up. Because it's not all going to be at once, especially if you're living kind of paycheck to paycheck. Now, in my case, I did this for a lens because I had different lenses on the cameras that are different stats for their focal length and their aperture. I also knew in the future I wanted to get a third camera. So to give you an update on how that happened, this is kind of the second part of the video, and I will show you a comparison of how it compares with the other lens. But here's the company. It's called Viltrox, and they make this 85 millimeters, the focal length, and it's a 1.4 on the aperture, so it lets in a lot of light. Has a nice, beautiful bokeh in the background. It is autofocus, so I'm really hoping you guys can see a difference on the videos. But the reason for it is just because my Kase, Kase, has a 1.4 aperture. The other lens doesn't. It has a 1.8. So as a result, I had to change the Kase settings to be like the other lens so you have consistency. Oh, wow. You know what? For a lens bag, I think this is by far the best one I've ever had. It's got a leather bottom and it's got its little burlap top and the drawstrings. I know it's a bag. It doesn't mean that much, right? But yeah, they put that leather thing on there. It says Viltrox. It's a better quality bag than any of the other lenses that I have, which stands out right away. Maybe that's why it's pro. Somebody said one time if they have to tell you pro, it's probably not. We'll see. I mean, it is Viltrox. We're not talking about the high-end stuff that's out there. Okay, it's got some weight. I can feel it already. So I got to be careful because only one of my hands is going to do this. Let me get this open here and show you. It's not going to look like much, but it's going to look like something. Okay, here it is. In all of its glory, the Viltrox lens. Is it already rattling? I hope not. Now on the side, there's a place you can click something on and off, but you can change it from autofocus to manual focus. You can set these other buttons to do things you want it to do, but this is a really cool lens. Now, if it works like the one did in the store, I was super impressed with the image quality. So I will put that onto one of the cameras and film some things at the end for you to see. So if you're interested in that, stick around. The Nikon Z6 Mark III suddenly had $700 off of their camera. Now, I had bought my other ZX3 maybe a couple years ago before I started making these videos, and I'm pleased with it. It's okay. So for them to do this large of a discount is just to put the others in the marketplace on notice. It's a very good camera. It's full frame, and you can look up all the specs online. I'm not doing that here on this video. But think about this. If you could go to B&H, which is a website in the States, and buy this for a $700 discount, it's phenomenal because now for less than $2,000, you're getting a camera that is punching way above its weight, and there's not a lot out there that can compete with its older pricing. So now for the reduction in price, it's really making a lot of sense. Now, I'm in China, so I already knew I might have to face tariffs or other things. Then I found out I could get the camera for less. I mean less than that $700 discount. And I don't mean used, I mean new. So I got what the Hong Kong version of it here. And they were crying at the camera store. There's a store here in Shenzhen that I got some lenses and cameras at before. And I wanted to give them my business. But when they quoted me the prices, they had two different prices they gave me. One of them is the China version of the camera, which in their money is $12,800. And you can divide that number by 7 to see what a person would pay for that in US dollars. The Hong Kong version is like 1,000 RMB less than that, which is awesome. But there's all kinds of rules the shop was giving me on how to get that discount. And I just said, well, why don't I just go down to Hong Kong and get it? But instead I went onto the site Taobao. It's a little bit like Amazon.com. And I ordered it. It's already here. And so when I saw that it still had the factory tape on the box, so the seal hasn't even been broken, I took it to the store with me just to show it to them because the salespeople were swearing up and down, there's no way it's new, there's no way it's new. When I brought it to the store, they said, well, look at the box, it's different. I said, yeah, it's the Hong Kong version. And then they kind of chuckled and they had these little smug looks on their face. I ended up taking a picture and sending it to the people I bought it from saying, hey, is this really new? because they're telling me that it is not an original. And they assured me, no, we promise you it's an original. So tomorrow, I'm going to a place that is the Nikon headquarters for this area. And they're going to look up the serial number and just tell me if it's original or not. I have a 7-day return policy with it. If they're doing some funny business, I will return the camera and figure something else out. I'm not desperate to get a camera right now. Again, the only reason I picked up these things is because of the huge discount. There was a big discount for the lens. There was an even bigger discount for the camera. Cameras can last a very long time. And to do what I want to in the future with the cameras, I needed another one. I already knew that. I've tried to make my smartphone work as the third camera. And for some of you, that setup would work. For what I'm doing, not with looking at the color science and the grading and everything else that needs to be consistent. That's going to be a little different of a setup than what most of you are probably using. So the idea of a strategy to think ahead, plan ahead, budget ahead, you have control over your budget, your money, your calendar. Somebody else doesn't control that for you. So if you're always out of money and you have a decent job, it's probably your spending habits. If you never have enough time, it's probably how you run your schedule, your calendar. You shouldn't always be in a state of panic and distress. If you plan wisely, you'll have a lot more time than you think you have. There's people and things that waste your time. If you keep a calendar, you'll be able to see what those are and make adjustments accordingly. And I mentioned I would show you the difference of these lenses at the end. Again, I don't know if you can see the difference. I'm looking right now into a camera that's using the Kase 1.4, 85 millimeter. Over here is the newer lens. It's a Viltrox 85 millimeter 1.4 Pro. So I hope this is helpful. I do hope to get this cast off on Friday, and I'll keep you updated on that. And until we see each other again, keep on making things, creating things, and just go out there and create your world.